With my 1-year wedding anniversary coming up, June 25th, which is also my grandparents' anniversary, I figured it was time to let you guys in on my love story with my wonderful husband. Although we have only been married for a year, we've been together for a full 6 years.
Dang, it's been that long already?
Yeah, I know. Crazy, right?
More like, how am I not dead yet?
Get out of here. I'm trying to make a nice introduction. Anyways, how we got together isn't the usual love story, and the way things progressed wasn't as easy. But I couldn't be more thankful for it because I found my true love and soulmate from the experience.
Aw, you love me.
Oh, shut up.
Happy anniversary!
Yeah. Happy anniversary. It all started with a YouTube video. I was surfing through random videos when I found a video showing off an online game called Audition Online. It had the style of a game I definitely play, and music games is definitely something I enjoy. And to play online? Awesome. I can meet some new online friends, especially since all the stuff with my ex-best friend went down, along with my ex-boyfriend. If you haven't heard these stories, check out the links above to get some background on it. I signed up and failed miserably at the game, but it was fun nonetheless. I soon met a boy named, let's call him Ted. In the game Audition, you can be in a family, which basically you are a dance squad that can compete, make some beats, which is currency in the game, and build your family house and rise in rankings. Ted was in a family that he introduced me to, which got me into the family as well, even though I still stunk at the game. Soon these people became my close friends. In the beginning, Ted and I were a couple, but he then went MIA for a long time, which caused me to break the couple off on the game as well as the real feelings. In the game, you can become a couple and get married. Pretty cool. Anywho, as he was gone, I hung around with the people in the family. We would soon move to Uvu, to Webcam, and we all became super close. I soon became close with this guy named Roro. Roro introduced me to this guy named Chummy Bee.
Chummy Bee? Really?
It's better than the other names I came up with, trust me.
Fine.
He would continuously pick on me and tease me to no end. It got to the point where we would constantly go back and forth in the chats to where it looked like we were flirting. People would call us out on the fact, but we would constantly deny it. Plus, at the time, Chummy Bee was dating someone else. He'd come around every once in a while, and we'd always end up teasing in the same way again. I started realizing that I may have feelings for this guy, but there was nothing I could do. He was with someone, and I am definitely not the type of girl to pursue someone and mess up a relationship. So, to my dismay, I just kept it as a messing around silly friendship. Weeks went on and we got closer. I learned more about him, such as his favorite color was blue, he was deathly afraid of ghosts, he loved to play tennis, and he lived in San Diego, California. We exchanged phone numbers and would text on a daily basis, but nothing really too crazy, just stuff about his day at school.
No.
Or a random poke message to say hi. Soon he started to seem a bit off. I asked what was wrong, to when he says, I don't know, my girlfriend seems to be acting a bit off. Have you noticed anything? I haven't until he stated that. When I would log on Audition, I noticed she would be in a private room with another mutual friend of ours, let's call him Bernie. She would be sitting in there with him for about an hour, ignoring Chummy Bee whenever he would message her. He was beginning to get frustrated. Bernie would often open up to me, so I confronted him about Chummy Bee's girlfriend, let's call her Rose. So why are you and Rose always together? He took a long pause and told me to promise that I wouldn't tell anyone. I promised, to my dismay of the surprise I got from him. Well, I always thought Rose and I had a brother-sister dynamic, but then I realized I had feelings beyond that for her. I couldn't keep it to myself anymore, and I told her. I know it's wrong, especially since I'm good friends with Chummy Bee, but I just couldn't keep quiet anymore. I thought she'd brush me off, but she told me she liked me too, and we kind of been talking like we do. Like, she's cheating? Sorta. We didn't establish anything, but our relationship definitely changed. I felt a sinking in my stomach. Bernie was a very close friend of mine, as well as Chummy Bee. I didn't know what to do. Could I really keep this silent to Chummy Bee, letting him foolishly think everything was okay when they weren't? I knew if I told him, it would risk my friendship with Bernie and possibly some other people in my fam on Audition, because a few knew I had liked Chummy Bee. They might think I might be trying to make a rift in their relationship so I can insert myself in. I sat on my bed quiet, arguing with myself in my head, but I knew the right thing to do was to tell him. Hey, Chummy Bee, you know how you've been saying Rose been acting different? Yeah. I told him everything. He sat silent, signed off of Messenger, then I saw that he was in a private room with Rose on Audition. I left him alone and went to play with the fam in another room, not mentioning what had happened. Not long after, Bernie messaged me saying, "How could you?" He was beyond upset with me, telling me that Rose was crying because Chummy Bee broke up with her. Chummy Bee disappeared for a while, and eventually Bernie messaged me saying he understood why I told him and that I did the right thing. Our friendship fixed itself. All I could do was hope that Chummy Bee was okay. Not too long later, he did come back on and he messaged me. I asked him if he was okay, and he said he was fine. He knew it for a while that something was off, and he was already mentally preparing himself for that moment. He said whatever he would say, "I love you," to her, her response would always be, "I love you, Gert." She would never answer him seriously, and he felt that the relationship was one-sided. We talked for a while and played some Audition. Things went back to normal and our usual uvu conversations with our friends and random text messages. A month goes by, and Chummy Bee and I were growing closer than ever. We would legit be on webcam all night talking to each other. My feelings for him were overflowing, but I was too scared to say anything. What if he didn't like me like that? What if I was only seen as a best friend and nothing more to him? I found myself wasting my days thinking back and forth if it was a good idea or not to jeopardize our friendship by telling him I wanted something more. I was terrified. I didn't want to lose him as a friend if he wasn't interested. One night, I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't stop thinking of him. I couldn't stop talking to him. I couldn't stop talking about him. I couldn't stop wanting to tell him I think I loved him. It was just the two of us in a webcam chat room when he tells me bluntly, like he usually does, "Hey, you look nervous. You okay?" "Yeah. Something on your mind?" He gives me this playful look of his. I feel like he's reading my thoughts from off my face. Only I know this couldn't be true because he's kinda dumb when it comes to people liking him. To my surprise, he actually takes a hold of the conversation. "I love you." I was baffled, almost thinking he was joking, but could tell his face was super serious. My mouth moves on its own, trying to wake my brain up from the shock. "I love you too." The next few months fly by, of us playing Audition, becoming a couple on there, getting married on there, and taking our real relationship very serious. Each night we would fall asleep with the other on webcam. He would sing to me as I fall asleep. He always sung "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" by Aerosmith to me, and I would sing back with him. Things were going perfect. The only thing that wasn't so perfect was that this was a long-distance relationship. He was in California, and I was in Pennsylvania. He was also in his last year of high school. Yeah, Chummy Bee is a year younger than me. He's also 3 inches shorter than me.
You cougar. I see how you like them.
Oh yes, a year younger, such a cougar of me.
You're my cougar, though.
What did I see in you again? So we started making plans for him to attend college over in Pennsylvania by me. He was getting his plans together and things were getting serious. I finally saved enough money from my part-time job at Target to fly over to California to see him. I was so nervous. I kept wondering if things would change if we saw each other in person. Would we still connect the same? I'm tall as heck. Will my height scare him off? Will he not think I'm pretty? When I see him standing there waiting for me, the air gets stuck in my throat. I walk over to him, expecting a hug or something. But what I got was, "Hi." He grabs my bags, puts them in the trunk of his cousin's car, tells me to hop in the back, and he sits with me. His cousin turns around and even goes, "Wow, that wasn't romantic at all." I groan, slumping in the seat and looking out the window, catching glimpses of him from the side of my eye. I remember saying to myself, did I make the right decision to come here? Was I duped? Is he not attracted to me? Am I a disappointment? Oh god. The car ride was awkward and silent until his cousin leaves the car. He finally turns to me and says, I'm happy you're here. We were actually heading right over to Chummy B's high school graduation. At this point, I got to see him graduate and I handed him a card that I brought for him that day. He smiled and finally gave me a hug. We went to the hotel where he stayed with me. He finally broke the tension by giving me the cutest kiss I was ever given and will never forget for the rest of my life. He was shaking. His lips were trembling as he pressed them against mine. I remember laughing and he broke the kiss saying, "Are you laughing at me?" All the tension left the room and the aura felt like it always did between the two of us, just like we were on webcam. We went to eat at IHOP, not IHOB, which turned into our tradition each morning. Yum 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 yum. Went to SeaWorld, the beach where I was attacked by seaweed and you could tell I was a total city girl because I was freaked out because a fish slapped my butt. He took me to his favorite water park, Soak City, where we nearly died on a slide. Chummy Bee! And introduced me to the love of Red Robins. I got sick seeing the Avengers movie with him. No more 3D movies. Then went to Disneyland for 3 days, one of the most magical vacations of my life. But time was quickly coming to a close and I knew I had to head back to Pennsylvania, going back to normal life. I didn't want to leave him. The day before the day of my departure, Chummy B tells me that he was accepted into the college I was going to. I was so excited, but knew he wasn't planning on moving over to the dorms until September. I snuggled into him, just feeling like we clicked and I couldn't stand going back to normal life of the internet days. He then tells me, I'm going back with you. Shocked, he bought plane tickets to my flights. He told his parents to where they were shocked as well. So we were in Chummy B's dad's car on the way to the airport when he pops in a cassette tape of him singing Cambodian karaoke, which he starts singing along to. Chummy B's sister screams, "Dad, turn it off! You're so embarrassing!" Chummy B and his sister facepalm as his dad says, "What? It's good!" and continues to sing. I had to hold in my laughter for the rest of the car ride. His mom, to everyone's surprise, even started crying at the airport, because Chummy B's mom is a tough Cambodian woman who doesn't really express emotions or even say I love you. We headed back to Pennsylvania to where I was surprised that both my parents gave Chummy B a hug. I was surprised not because my mom did, but my dad did. My dad didn't hug just anyone. That's when I definitely knew Chummy B was something special. I got Chummy B a job with me at Target. He moved into the dorms, which was only 5 minutes down the road from me. He spent a lot of time at my place though, which eventually, 3 months later, my parents told him to save on money and move in with us. Another shocker to me that nearly gave me a heart attack. The other bed that was in my room from when Anne was living with us was for him now. Things were going smooth. We went through our first holidays together. He saw snow for the first time. We made plenty of friends and we went everywhere together. 2 years had passed and our relationship was pretty rock solid. I kept singing the Beyonce song, Put a Ring on It to him, and flaunting my hand around. He'd always shake his head and laugh at me. At this point, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to apply for the Disney college program. Chummy B did as well, so we did together. We knew that there was a slim chance that we both would be accepted at the same time, but we promised each other that we'd support the other if one didn't get in or not. About 2 weeks or later, I heard back getting an acceptance. I remember falling to my knees and being so happy. Chummy B hugged me and we celebrated with Red Robins that night. Yum 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 yum. Another week passed and to our delight, Chummy B got accepted too. We were both going to Florida for the college program. We drove all the way down to Florida together. It was painful because we both had to live separately, something we weren't used to anymore. And we worked a lot, so we didn't see each other often. But when we did, we made the most of it. November was here, my favorite month of the year because I always loved fall and the weather seemed to be perfect the way I like it. I had the day off, as did Chummy B, so he decided we should have a date day at Epcot, telling me to get up early, which was the hardest thing in the world for me to do because I worked until 1 a.m. or later most nights, but I did because I wanted to spend time with him. When we got to the car, he had flowers laid out on the seat, along with a card and a K jewelry box. I opened the card to find it was just a simple card with him telling me how much he loved me. It was so sweet. I could feel myself wanting to cry. As I opened the K jewelry box, I found a bracelet with my favorite colors, purple and pink, as the beads he picked out for me. I immediately put it on, then looked over at him. What is all this for? I just wanted you to know I love you, and we've been busy lately, so I just wanted you to still know I'm thinking of you. I could seriously melt at that time. I was beyond happy. We spent the day at Epcot when I started to get hungry. Chummy Bee smiled and said, "Oh, good. Our dinner reservation is in 30 minutes. Dinner reservation? Yeah, I got us a reservation at the beer garden." My eyes lit up. It was my absolute favorite restaurant, especially since I was German, and being there always made me feel close to my no longer with us grandparents. The food was amazing, and the music was awesome. We got our table, and I was about to get some food when the German singers came out to start the show. Chummy Bee stopped me and said, "Hey, why don't we go and dance on the dance floor?" Oh, sure. I was surprised because Chummy Bee usually didn't like to dance in front of a lot of people. As he leads me out onto the floor, we begin to dance when he backs away from me. I'm staring at him with a confused face as he goes to me. "I really love you, and I always knew you were the one for me. I knew it when I immediately wanted to go back with you when you visited me for the first time, when I first kissed you, and these past 2 years we spent together. Everything always seems to go our way, even when it doesn't." He takes a long pause. "I wanted your grandparents to be here when I did this." He got down on one knee. "Will you marry me?" I remember covering my mouth and backing away from him. I could feel the tears well up in my eyes. I was so happy. I finally nodded my head up and down, letting out a tearful "yes." He slips the ring on my finger, and I felt elated the whole rest of the night. We ate and then watched Illuminations at Epcot, their fireworks show. Calling our families and telling them the good news. They were all very excited and happy for us. 2 years later, we were living in Florida in our own place. We finally had enough money saved to put together for our dream wedding. We decided to have our wedding over in San Diego, where Chummy Bee's family is. I wore Tiana's wedding gown from Alfred Angelo. Thankfully got my dress before they went bankrupt. Phew, the day was beautiful. Chummy Bee and I cried, was surrounded by family, and celebrated our love. I couldn't believe we knew each other for 5 years at this point and was finally married. Our honeymoon was a Disney cruise where we went to the Bahamas. One of the best vacations Chummy Bee and I ever had. We would definitely do it again. 4 months later, Chummy Bee and I were on the topic of starting a family. We talked about this often throughout the years because we were both very family-oriented and had dreams of being parents one day. Chummy Bee turned to me and said, "Let's have a baby." I laughed, thinking he was joking. I looked at him to find him very serious. "Let's have a baby," he repeated. "You think it's the right time?" I asked him. He smiled and said, "I wouldn't say it if I didn't think so." I thought about how much our life would change and how being parents would be so rewarding, especially if I'm doing this with Chummy Bee. Let's have a baby. Surprisingly, it didn't take us too long to conceive. I was in the bathroom feeling different. It's strange, it's almost like I immediately knew something was different in my body. I took a pregnancy test, and sure enough, it came back positive. We sat on the bathroom floor crying tears of joy. After numerous doctor's visits, them telling me I'm in perfect health, along with my very active baby, over time we got to listen to his heartbeat. He's moving around so much it sounds like he's swimming in there. We decorated his nursery. It's a Winnie the Pooh theme. He loves to kick his daddy at night while we are asleep. Baby boy is due August 7th, and time is ticking down. I'm very nervous but excited at the same time. Now, all this was started by a silly YouTube video. You never know what is going to change your life. I took a risk and a chance flying out to California. Anything could have happened, but I left California with my future husband, and am now carrying my first child with him. I wouldn't change anything that we had to go through for the world because he means the entire world to me. There is no Pinkley without her chummy.
Aw, you're so cheesy.
Shut up, you can get pretty cheesy too.
Shh, not in front of the people, okay?
So, is there anything you'd like to say to the people?
We may have had some hard times, but there were many great things that has happened in our adventure. so far, and I wouldn't have wanted to do it with anyone else.
If there's any other stories you'd like me to talk about, post it down below. I do read the comments, so who knows, your idea might be my next video. If there's anything in this video that you'd like me to elaborate on more, let me know down below. But for now, I have a date with my husband for my anniversary.
Hopefully your water doesn't break.
Don't say that, it's too early. Alright guys, until next time, bye bye!
Bye!